Have you ever wondered what would happen if you took a bumper from an SUV and the one from a sports car and merged them into one? Yeah, that sounds a little crazy, but today I'm doing exactly that. I'm gonna cut the original front bumper and merge it with the one from an SUV. Will it work? Will it actually come together the way that I'm imagining? Stick around, because in this video I'm taking you step by step through how I'm combining two totally different designs into one seamless, unique piece. The challenge to transform my underrated damaged car into something as cool as this without any help in my home garage. The story so far: I've made a plan and draw the design that I'm after. I drove the car in and managed to remove the damaged body panels just to conclude that the car has no structural damage. I've installed the 13-inch wheels to realize that I must use spacers to clear the calipers, and I've used some masking tape to temporarily fit the new wheel flare arches. What I'm planning to do for the front, I want to cut it here and the lower bit replace it with the bumper from another car. And maybe you will say, okay, but how do you know what to pick? Well, it's actually very interesting how I do it. When I know that I need something, I have a rough idea of dimensions and what I need in my head. And then when I drive around, I just look at cars. And at some point, I just see something and it's like, yes, this is what I want. I've noticed the new Toyota Corolla bumpers. They're ridiculous. I mean, I don't know, they must be very popular among the taxi drivers because they're ridiculously expensive. A bumper is like £1,000, so I'm not paying that. It's just, yeah, I can buy a complete car for that money. But then I started to look elsewhere and then I ended up on this. I think it's super cool because one of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to have like an oversized grille, because this is a trend now, everybody has oversized grilles. So I wanted the design of this car to look a bit more up to date, and I think it's gonna look absolutely brilliant. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but you can leave a comment if you can guess from what car it came from. And if you find this interesting, please like, share, subscribe, and help me grow this channel, as I promise that things are only going to get better. This is what I'm going to try to do for the front bumper. Get this to somehow fit it on this. I need to cut it and stick it over there. I'm gonna cut like this and then like this. There's a small bump over here. So let's correct that first. With the heat gun set on high, now I'm going to warm up the plastic bumper until it is soft enough for me to push it back into its normal position. Why I'm doing this? It's very simple. The straighter a panel is, the less body filler I need to use to make it straight again. Because I'm doing all sorts of custom stuff, it's really important to have something that is straight. If you don't have enough space to step away from what you're working, it's really easy to make a mistake and to make something that is crooked. So to avoid that, I'm just going to use this inexpensive tool. It's just a laser leveler. Yeah, everybody's seen something like this, but this makes my work a lot easier because I can make sure that the car is level when I'm starting to cut, and also I can take exact measurements without eyeballing. And now with the bumper straight on the car, I'm just going to use masking tape to know exactly where to place my cut. Let's just cut here and try to see if it fits over there. With the bumper off, I'm going to cut it with excess so that I have room for errors. I can remove the top bit that I don't really need. And I was left with my new lower part. Then it was time for the first test fit. And now that I have my new lower part, even though it is not centered, I can already see that the dimensions are quite similar. It is slightly bigger, but not by much, and this gives me confidence that I can really get away with this. Here goes nothing. I have the car leveled. I'm just gonna use some masking tape to know exactly where to place my next cut. I just need to remove all the bolts that are securing the bumper underneath, and I can separate this. The only thing that is left for me to do now is to disconnect the fog light connectors, and I can take this off the car. Now that both bumpers are cut, I can put one on top of the other and see where I need to do my next cut. I've just moved the laser a bit higher and I can begin to make the second cut. Remove the extra and clean the edges, and then attach the new bumper on the old one. Both bumpers are cut and ready to be joined. This next stage, it is critical. This is the foundation for our new front bumper. If I get it wrong now, it is going to be a disaster. And to join them together, You can't just randomly start from one end and finish to the other, because most definitely you'll get it wrong. So to get it right, I'll use this as a reference, but you'll get the idea. You find the middle and you mark it. And then on the opposite side, on the opposite section, you'll do the same. And when you start to join them together, you start from the marks, join together, and work your way out. This way, you'll make sure that you'll have the bumper perfectly aligned. If you'd start from one end and then finish to the other, most definitely you'll get it wrong. It is really important when you're joining them together to have both of the sections fixed into place. If they're gonna move around, again, you'll do it wrong. How do you join them together? I'll get this piece and yeah, just think that this is the new section and I need to secure it here. Okay, how do you join them together? Well, you can't use a clamp. You could say, okay, you can use rivets. If I use rivets, then I can't move anything. And I need something that I can move around to make sure that it's aligned. So what I'm going to use, it's this self-tappers. Yes, these are brilliant because they bite really easy through the plastic, and then I can secure both of them together. And if I need to readjust, I just quickly take it out, adjust, and screw it back in. I have firmly secured the new lower part on the car with screws, and now I'm just warming up the corner so that I can mold it together with the wheel flare arch. Okay. Once that has cooled, I took a measurement from the top bit of the lower part of the new bumper till the corner of the front wing. To write down my measurements, I'm just using whiteboard marker to make it easy to correct myself if I make any mistakes. And with the dimensions in mind, it was time to move on the opposite side and secure this corner as well. With both corners secured, it was time to start matching the top part. If I try to match the angles now, and I push it here, I will make this small gap, and I don't really want that. I just took my time to heat the plastic until it was soft enough so that I could bend it to match the angle from the car. And now, as both bumpers had the same angle and they were overlapping and secured together, by making another cut through both of them, I would get exactly the same cut line on each side. Now it was time to put them together, and for this I will use this tool. It's called plastic welding gun, but some people call it a stapler. So you just put the staple here, press, and then it goes red hot. And you just plant it, and that's it. It's as easy as that. There you go. It goes in, and then I like to press a bit with my finger, like that, so that I seal the filament. You just need to be careful so that you don't push it all the way through. It does take a bit of practice, but you just need to be careful. It's not super difficult to do. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because it's all cut, it's wobbly. So if I take it off and try to weld it like that, by the time that I put it back, I'll realize that it's not gonna fit anymore. But if I'll weld it on the car, where the original one is already secured in its place, I'm going to make sure that it's going to fit like a glove. Next day, yesterday was a really long night, and I stayed late at night to make sure that I finish. And I did, to be honest, I was so tired that I haven't even looked on how it turned out. And I mean, I'm so excited about this. I was having a feeling that it's gonna look really good, but I mean, genuinely, it's really, really good. I'm gonna show you a bit how it turned out, and then I'm gonna tell you what I've messed up. But yeah, I can fix it. But yeah, this is what happens when you work late at night. So, you know, sometimes I think it's better when you feel that you're tired, just put your tools down and just resume the next day. But to be honest, I wanted to carry on because I can actually see some progress, and the time is really, really short. I mean, it's really short. I was looking on the to-do list, and I don't know how I'm going to make it, but let me just show you how it turned out. Now I'm going to have to trim this, all of this. I did mess up a bit. Here I've cut it nice and neat, and then by the time that I've reached on this side, I was very tired and I've trimmed a bit too much. Now I just need to fill this up. Otherwise, I really like this. It's this long nose like this, and then this sharp edge. It's really good. Resembles a bit like the Ferraris. And then the reason why we've done this is, look at the ground clearance. I mean, that's a lot. It's almost 10 inches of clearance. Well, actually it's lower because it goes way lower, but still, when you put your car against the curb, it's gonna be really good. I'm going to have to redo the crash bar. It's a bit unfortunate the fact that the projectors actually sit right in front of the chassis, but I'll have a look to see if I can find actually something like a spotlight, something that is really shallow, and then I can replace that. If not, I don't know, maybe I'll do a duct, like an air duct for the brakes, to repurpose that. But yeah, I think it is really great. Couldn't be more happy, to be honest. Let's carry on. Now I just need to trim all of this down, and then I'm gonna grind them. The reason why I'm keeping my finger like this when I'm cutting is because these things actually do want to fly when you snip them off. Look now. Now I'm left with this really sharp leftovers from the pins, so I'm gonna trim them down. I need to be really careful so that I don't go too much. This is a 40 grit sanding paper, so it is really aggressive. I'll just have to be patient and careful. And after I finished sanding the staples, I just had to remove the marks left from the screws when I temporarily installed the new bumper. I removed the badge, and as you can see, it has double-sided tape residue, and the easiest way to remove that is with this. It's called a toffee wheel. This is like an eraser for body panels. It works really well. The only thing that I would say is make sure that you go really slow on the speed and don't stay in the same spot, as it is super easy to burn through the paint. If you're painting the car like I am now, it's not really a big deal, but if you're only trying to remove something from the car, it is going to be a disaster if you go through the paint. Now it's time for the body filler and start preparing it for the final stage. But let's move to the back first, and if you want to see how I use the front bumper of a big panel van to make my rear custom one, click on the screen right now and watch this video here. My name is Camil, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.